Hey everyone! Do you like recreated battles because the first battle had a disconnection? Me neither, but I've got one for you anyway. Welcome to week 2 of season 4 of the NPCC. I am Mark, coach of Vulpix City, and this week we are facing Juan and his Deportivo Primarinas. I'll put his links in the description below. So let's just get straight into it. I have a roster of Landorus Therian, Mega Manectric, Fortress, Cresselia, Drapion, Jellicent, Blaziken, Braviary, Superior, Klefki, and Masquerain. My C-move users are Landorus Therian, and the Super C-move user is Blaziken. Juan's roster consists of Hydreigon, Scolipede, Reuniclus, Seismitoad, Donphan, Heliolisk, Aromatisse, Machamp, Golbat, and Rapidash. His Z-move users offensive Z-move user is Hydreigon, his Super Z-move user is Reuniclus. Biggest threats to my team, definitely the Hydreigon more than anything. Scolipede and Aegislash are big problems too. Reuniclus was also an issue when I was preparing for this match. But, you know, let's just see the team that I brought. No team builder this week, we're in a bit short on time, so I'm just recording the battle. But I brought Superior, Klefki, Drapion, Braviary, Manectric, and Landorus. And Juan brought his Seismitoad, his Aegislash, his Hydreigon, his Aromatisse, his Scolipede, and his Donphan. Just a quick run through of my team. I have an offensive Life Orb Superior with Leech Seed, Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, and Hidden Power Fire. I have specially defensive Klefki with Spikes, Foul Play, Play Rough, and Light Screen. I have offensive Adamant Drapion with Sword Stance, Knockoff, Poison Jab, and Aqua Tail. I have specially defensive Braviary with Whirlwind, Brave Bird, U-Turn, and Roost. Mega Manectric with Volt Switch, Flamethrower, Signal Beam, and Toxic. And once again bringing offensive Landorus Therian with Sword Stance, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, and Stone Edge with the Rocky MZ. Klefki has the Orca Berry too for potential switch-ins to Hydreigon's Fire Blast. I thought it was more likely he would go for the fire coverage over the ground coverage of Earth Power. We'll see how that goes. Drapion does have coverage for ground type moves. Got the Shucker Berry, which means that Drapion can beat Donphan one-on-one after a bit of chip damage. As long as it gets Sword Stance up, it can take an Earthquake with the Shucker Berry, fire off an Aqua Tail, knock it out, and then do a lot more damage to his team. So looking at matchup, I don't want him to get rocks up straight away. I'm thinking he'll probably lead with one of his ground types, either Seismitoad or Donphan, so I am going to lead with my Superior, and let's get right into it. So yeah, leading with my Superior because I know it can put in a lot of damage onto either his Seismitoad or his Donphan, and he does lead with the Seismitoad. Now, unfortunately, because we had to recreate this match, there are going to be a couple of weird turns that you won't completely understand, but this is one that actually did happen. At one point, not this early in the original battle, but he did switch in his Scolipede on my Superior. I went for the Leaf Storm, did a chunk to it, and then knocked it out with the Hidden Power Fire. So getting rid of Scolipede so early was amazing, frankly. No Toxic Spikes, no Spikes, no Baton Pass, no Sword Stance, amazing. Now at this point, obviously, he's not going to switch back in his Seismitoad on my Superior. We're just trying to get a bit of chip damage off on the Hydreigon using Leech Seed because it was slightly weakened later on into the battle. Unfortunately, this is how we had to do it really. We had to recreate it fairly. And we couldn't, and this was the quickest way to do it, because if we did it, there were a lot more turns in the original battle. So if we did it completely, turn by turn, there were chances for crits, just a lot more chance for hacks. So yeah, I go into my Manectric because Manectric was weakened fairly on in the battle. So and I did actually end up switching in on an Iron Head from Aegislash. And I'm able to Mega Evolve, and this is another turn that I actually predicted. It's just a little bit out of order. I'm predicting one of his ground types to come in, either Seismitoad or Donphan. I go for the Toxic, which lands, which is amazing, because I really want to weaken Donphan for things like Drapion and Landorus to sweep up late game. And obviously I wouldn't usually stay in here, but Manectric was weakened a little bit more than this, so he just goes for Guy Shard. I just double Toxic just to get a bit more toxic damage on Donphan, obviously don't want to attack it because it wasn't weakened much more than that. Seismitoad was at about 65%, so he just switches it in on a signal beam, and I'm going to switch into my Superior because Superior got his life orb knocked off. So yeah, there it goes. And obviously again, he wouldn't usually stay in with Seismitoad against Superior, but I'm just going to click Hidden Power just to whittle it down a little bit further. Superior was maybe around 30% health when the disconnect happened, so he's just going to click Knock Off a couple of times. I'm going to click Hidden Power. And we're almost at the turn where the battle restarted again from where the recreation ended. And we're 6-5 up at the minute, so it's going pretty well. Unfortunately, obviously it's not great to have my 2 main special attackers weakened, but Manectric isn't doing too much in the match at the minute. It's managed to poison Donphan. He's brought both his ground types. I don't have the Hidden Power Grass, which I did originally with building, but switched it for Toxic, so I thought that would be maybe a little bit more useful for his entire roster. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to Toxic the Seismitoad, put it on a timer, and let Manectric go down because it wasn't doing a whole lot for me, and I thought it was nice to get a free switch in to Superior. At this point I thought he's almost definitely going to switch out, so maybe I can pull a double, but no, I just click Leaf Storm as he brings in his Aegislash, which does a fair chunk, but I know that Hidden Power Fire, while Aegislash is in its shield form, is not going to kill it. He can kill me with Shadow Sneak. Now unfortunately it went down to timer this turn, and I kind of rushed it because I was deciding what to do. The timer was counting down, and I ended up going into Braviary, and this is a turn, in hindsight, I regret. You'll find out a little bit later on why. You go through his Iron Head, it does 55-60% to my Braviary because I am of course specially defensive. He goes for his King Shield, which wouldn't have mattered if I'd attacked him anyway because I do have the Defiant ability, so he would have lowered my attack by 2 stages, but Defiant would have just buffed it back up. I go for the Roost. And this turn I'm going to go for the Whirlwind. Granted, he's going to get another 60% off me with Iron Head, but I don't want this Aegislash in here. I want to get it out, and then I can switch my Braviary out. But unfortunately, he gets the flinch, which is a huge turn for me. He obviously knows because Braviary went last that turn, I'm going for Whirlwind, so he has no reason to really click King Shield. I Roost, he goes for Iron Head again, and at this point I don't have a safe switch in. Everything else needs to be fairly healthy for the rest of his team, so unfortunately I do have to let Braviary go down, but not before Braviary gets a really good chunk of damage off of Brave Bird, almost 50%, because Aegislash is in its blade form. Aegislash knocks out Braviary, which is unfortunate, really unfortunate actually with what happens later on in the battle, but as I said, I'll explain that when the time comes. I bring in my Landorus and this is perfect, I can get the Intimidate off. Braviary was there for a special variant of Aegislash, unfortunately it was physical, but this is good because I can Intimidate Aegislash. She goes for the King Shield, I'm going for the Sword Stance straight away. Now at this point, if I had Rock Polish, I pretty much won the match right here. Unfortunately I don't. I changed it for Stealth Rock in prep because I really wanted rocks. I couldn't fit them on anything else. He goes for the King Shield again, so like I say, if I had Rock Polish that would have been free dual setup. But I do go for the Earthquake as his King Shield fails. Knock out the Aegislash, which is great. At this point I make kind of another misplay. I switch out my Landorus because I don't want it to take enough damage to the point where Donphan's Ice Shard can take it out, so I do switch out onto Cliffy, knowing he'll probably go for the Dragon move. And I kind of feared Hidden Power Ice too. He switches out his Hydreigon. I go for the Play Rough on the incoming Seismitoad. Does a respectable amount considering I don't have any attack investment and Seismitoad is probably going to have a lot in bulk. I put up the light screen so that I'm protected against things like this Seismitoad and especially the Hydreigon because like I said, it is definitely the biggest threat to my entire team. I'm going to set up a layer of spikes here because I'm pretty sure the Seismitoad will end up switching out once more before it dies, so I want to chip this thing down. I want to chip the Donphan down because that's another Pokemon that's stopping or threatening my Landorus because from the damage calcs it is a max attack Adamant Donphan. Donphan does come in as he had set up his Stealth Rocks, which is a nice play on his part. either predicting me to switch out or that I'm not going to do too much damage to him, which obviously I couldn't. I switch out here, and I go into my Drapion. Might look like an odd switch, but I do have the Sugar Berry, and I know I can live this easily. Yeah, it does maybe 30%. I know after the poison damage I can knock this Donphan out with a knockoff, so that's exactly what I go for. He switches in his Hydreigon, which I was really happy to see because I know that this is Choice Scarf Hydreigon because it outsped my Mega Manectric in the original, before we had to recreate the battle, before the disconnection. He goes for U-turn on Drapion. I'm kind of just letting Drapion do as much damage as it possibly can while it's out here. Again, maybe I should have thought a little bit more about that because Drapion really threatens the Aromatisse, and I don't have too much. I don't have much unboosted that really threatens the Aromatisse. I have Sword Stance and I have Contrary Serperia, but Drapion at least threatened Aromatisse without a boost. I knock out the Cybertoad with knockoff as Swan sacks it as I sack my Drapion to Hydreigon's Earth Power. I can bring in my Klefki, which again looks weird because he has Earth Power, but I'm going to set up the light screen because there's no way I'm going down to 2 Earth Powers once the light screen's up, and he will die to 1 player off. So I set up the light screen as he brings in his Aromatisse finally. God, that thing's ugly. It's a leftovers variant. It's going to be defensive, and I'm expecting it to be the standard Aromatisse. A little scared of Carmine, but he goes for the Wish, so I'm quite fine with that, to be honest. But at this point, I don't want that Donphan getting wished back up. It can live a Stone Edge. I'm scared about the Wish pass, so I just go straight for the Continental Crush because I know it'll do a ton to Aromatisse. It'll do a ton to the Hydreigon, if not knock it out, and it will definitely knock out the Donphan. It was kind of middle ground play in hindsight, and I'm saying that a lot. I kind of wish I'd just Sword Stance there instead, as he goes for the Toxic, which is, it's annoying because it'll wear down my Landorus to the point where Donphan can probably pick it off with Ice Shard. But Donphan was probably the biggest thing I was fearing after finding out that, after knocking off Hydreigon's Choice Scarf, I should say, because Serperia can deal with the Hydreigon now. Donphan is the biggest threat. I go for the Sword Stance in front of the Aromatisse, knowing that the light screen is up. Knowing that it can't do too much to me. But I'm about 50% now and the Toxic is starting to rack up. He switches out and he actually sacks his Donphan, which I am really happy with. I don't have to worry about Ice Shard for Serperia or Landorus now, which is great. And he will send in his, after I take the poison damage, he will send in his Hydreigon, which can easily revenge kill my Landorus now. Really wish I brought Rock Polish, otherwise this game would have been over a while ago. I'm going to switch out because I need Landorus still to really threaten that Aromatisse on the physical side. And I know that he's not going for an Earth Power, so I'm going to Klefki, set the light screen back up as it had worn off, as he switches in his Aromatisse. And at this point, I go for the play rough, I should say, hoping that he might stay to go for the Earth Power because I could definitely live 1 because I'm max special defense. He goes for the Wish, and it's at this point where the timer is getting low. I'm up 3-2. I go for the light screen because Aromatisse, he can't switch out into Hydreigon because Klefki will kill Hydreigon with Play Rough, and I can't switch out because he has Stealth Rock up. My Landorus is poisoned. It will take Stealth Up damage and Toxic and a Moonblast. Serperia will take Stealth Rock and a Moonblast, so I can't switch out because they'll both die. So I have to stay in with Klefki, and at this point I'm doing something I never thought I would do, but I'm timer stalling. I'm waiting for the timer to run out because, judging on the time that was left, I can just about keep Klefki alive with these Moonblasts doing 12 or 13. I know I can live at least 3 more, maybe 4 with good rolls. So I'm just going for Play Rough, just hoping to force Aromatisse to Wish to waste a turn. A crit either way wins the match for either of us. So this is absolutely not over yet, even after the misplays I'd made. I'm still in the driving seat, just provided Hacks doesn't come and bite me on the backside. He goes for that wish, as I knew he had to, and I had to go for the light screen to protect me for the final couple of turns. I go for the play rough, no crit, and he goes for the Moonblast, and there is the critical hit, as he gets his health back due to the wish. And that is really unfortunate, because now I go for the play rough, and there's my critical hit. Yay! I got it. Just one turn too late, unfortunately, so Klefki unfortunately goes down, and at this point there's about 40 seconds left, and I'm just expecting Juan to do what I was doing, because I told him that I was timer stalling. I had to, it was my only play. I expected him to. He doesn't. He lets me leaf storm his Aromatisse, and it lives on 1 HP. That is actually 1 HP, he told me after the battle that it was 1 HP. Superior goes down, and this Aromatisse, the bane of my existence, this horrible, horrible pink puffball, is the reason why, unfortunately, Vulpix City lose 2-1 to the Deportivo Primarina and Juan. Great game to Juan. It was unfortunate that it came down to timer stalling at the end. Ironically, if we hadn't recreated the battle, the timer would have run out earlier. So, you know, maybe I would have won then, but then again, at the same time, I had plenty of opportunities, such as staying in with my +2 Landorus to actually win the game earlier. So, you know, credit to Juan, he played a great game. I made a couple of mistakes, and, you know, he capitalised, and Hacks was on his side, so, you know, that's the game we play. It's fine, that's fair enough, and we are now at 1-1 in Season 4, week after week 2 of the NPCC, and yeah, going into week 3, definitely looking to bounce back, definitely out for revenge after this unfortunate defeat. But you know, it's good. I'm glad that the first loss is out of the way, takes a bit of pressure off, and yeah, definitely looking to bounce back. But yeah, that's all, guys. I'll leave links to Juan's Twitter and channel in the links below. And yeah, I'll see you next week for week 3. Peace.